up, Team Flynn? What's up, Team Flynn? Welcome in today. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Appreciate you taking the time. Welcome in, crew. Great to see you here. The Quaranteam. It's you. We're in the house. We're having some fun. We're going to answer some questions. We might do a couple site reviews, so stick around for that because I want to select you. Can't select everybody, but we're going to have some fun anyway. And yesterday, it was the second day in a row that we reached our like goal here. And I already see 24 likes, which is great, and that one thumbs down. Let's turn that around. All good, though, because I know you can't please everybody. And that's the first big lesson here when it comes to doing anything online. You just can't please everybody. And it's hard for me as a 3 on the Enneagram. By the way, if you happen to know your Enneagram, put your number in, or your number plus your wing in the chat. As a 3, I'm a people pleaser, right? I thrive and I get a lot of just happy vibes when I know that I'm helping other people, right? That's who I am. My wife is a 6 who's more the loyalist. I'm more of the performer, which is interesting because I'm also an introvert. But that's how I find that I'm contributing to the world is when I find that other people are resonating with that and offering me that kind of feedback, which was hard because sometimes you get feedback that you don't want to hear. And when you want to please everybody and you don't please that one person, it kind of ruins everything that's going on, right? And we entrepreneurs, we have, and as I always say, we have this weird math, right? Where one negative comment equals, or is actually greater than 100 positive comments. I don't know if you remember the story that I've told you before on the podcast, but I have been highly affected by negative comments back in the past. And it was a time back in, I think, 2012, 2013. I can't remember the exact year because I've tried to block this memory from my mind. But there was a time where a person had left, I think it was like a 1,000-word comment on my blog. And it was about how I was a con artist, how I was a fake. He was even getting into the clothes I was wearing and how a person who supposedly made this much money online wasn't supposed to be wearing these kinds of shirts. And it was just like it was like a dagger and then another dagger, and then like twisted both daggers. And it just didn't feel good. So as and you should do too, if you get a troll like that on your website, you remove them from your website, right? I deleted the comment, I blocked the IP address, and I thought, get out of my house, everything's cool now. Well, what ended up happening was I woke up the next morning and I got dozens of emails from some of my friends. And they all said the same thing. They all said, Pat, who's this guy who's leaving a 1,000-word comment on my blog about you? And it was on any post or any page on the web where I was featured or a guest interview. This person just copy and pasted the same comment, the same hateful comment. And I felt like crap. Number one, thankful for all the friends and people out there who deleted those comments too. Some of them probably still exist out there. But more than that, I sank into a hole. I didn't work for 2 weeks. I didn't work for 3 weeks straight because I was just so afraid of hearing more people like that. And in all honesty, it's all I kept thinking about so much that I actually started to potentially believe this person. And then it wasn't until, and I got to give a big shout out to Derek Halpern. Thank you, Derek. Derek Halpern reached out to me because he saw I wasn't posting. I had been just completely consistent up until that point. He went, Pat, what's going on? And I told him the story that I just told you. And he said, Pat, you're being ridiculous right now. And I said, what are you talking about? This person was so hurtful, so hateful. But Derek, of all people, as you might know if you know him, he gets those kinds of comments all the time. But he said this, and this is what I want to pass forward to you as many of you are starting this online thing for the first time, or you've been doing it for a while, and you've been sort of holding back a little bit. You've been staying in your comfort zone, if you will. Derek said, every second you waste on this hater is a second you're taking away from the people who need you, who enjoy you, who actually do love and support you. And I was like, Derek, dude, that's incredible. And so it was at that point that I eventually mustered up the courage to get back online and started to control the story in my mind and focus on the more positive comments, which is why I wanted to bring this community together every single morning, not because of that incident back then, but because of how powerful I know when you bring other people into your life that care and support for you. So although we have a negative Nancy in the house with a thumbs down, and again, it's all good. I'm imagining it's this person who's going through a tough time in their life, who perhaps just wants to vent somewhere, and because I'm showing up every day, I'm an easy target. And that's exactly what was the case before. But I eventually learned that, and here's the big thing, hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. And now when I see a troll or a negative Nancy come in, no offense to any of the Nancys out there, you're not all negative. There's some very positive Nancys in my life, actually. Positive Nancys. Sorry, just off tangent now. But those people who are trolls are often that way because of somebody that is mistreating in their life or a bad situation that they just can't control. So I always try to have empathy when it comes to that. So that was a story I just wanted to tell you because I think a lot of us go through that where you have these negative comments in your life, in your business, because we live in what's called a bucket of crabs. I don't know if you've heard this before. I learned this from Adam Baker from Man vs. Debt. We live in a bucket of crabs. What does that mean? You might be like, bucket of crabs, what's that mean? Bruh. That's a new sound effect that I got for you today. Do you hear that? Bruh. Bruh. So that's a sound effect I'm going to use when I'm like taken aback by something. Bruh. So there's that sound effect, and this is one that is my favorite. And something's cool. And if something like really impresses me or is very interesting or surprising, I might go, cool? Cool. Anyway, bucket of crabs. We live in a bucket of crabs. If you take a bucket of crabs, literal live crabs, and you just set them out in the open, just like a bucket, no lids needed, because guess what happens? As soon as a crab starts to try and crawl out, all the other crabs in the bucket pinch and try to pull that crab back down. They don't want anybody to escape. And I think a lot of us can resonate with that because there's a lot of people in our lives that don't necessarily want to have us, quote unquote, escape or validate that maybe they're not doing what they want to do. And so as an entrepreneur, that's a big struggle, right? It's a lot of the mental game before you get into the strategies and the tips and the tactics, because the strategies, the tips and the tactics, they honestly don't matter at all if your head game is not strong. So that's partly why I'm here, because I want to provide a good head game for you, especially in these crazy times. I'm going live consistently 8 a.m. every single morning here, and I'm just very appreciative of the community that's here. And if you're brand new here, welcome in. Thanks so much. Feel free to participate in the comments. We got a lot of great people in, as you can see, and I'm going to start interacting with y'all right now and just say hello to everybody. So what's up, Ben? Good to see you in the house. I appreciate you. Let's see. Just thumbs up, says Corey. Still a novice, but you were the first resource for trying to get my head around all this. Gotta fly soon, but my next video, number 16, filming later, might be the one. It's interesting when you say that, because I often, and I'm not saying it won't be the one, Corey, but this is a big lesson too, especially here on YouTube, because YouTube is a monster. It can lift you up and it can tear you down all in the same day. And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll plan a video and it's like the one in your mind that's gonna go well. And then you work so hard on it and you publish it and it just flops. And I don't want yours to flop, Corey. But then on the other hand, there are many other times where I'll just kind of ad hoc, impromptu, create a video, put it together, and it's very rough. It's not super edited. There's not a ton of sort of bells and whistles in it. And then whoosh, that's the one that takes off. And I think the biggest thing on YouTube is just consistency. And Corey's definitely been going consistent. So make sure you subscribe to him, check him out. He's doing a sort of, I think, a 30-day run, if I remember it. Brendan's in the house. Hey, Brendan, our community manager over on the Facebook page. Definitely give him some love. Follow him. He's doing great. Very knowledgeable in the world of SEO. Also, obviously, a great community manager in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined that, smartpassiveincome.com/community. It's going to take some time to get approved because Brendan makes sure everybody in there is worth getting in there, and that's awesome. So thank you, Brendan, for coming in. I appreciate you. I remember this time. I remember how you responded, and I learned a lot. I just did a Zoom virtual happy hour for my online community last Friday, and I got Zoom bombed. Awful. But I'm doing another. Keep going. I'm sorry that you got Zoom bombed, but remember, hurt people hurt people. You probably were interacting with somebody who was going through some stuff in their life, and it's very obvious. We're all going through some stuff right now, right? So this is just part of the equation right now. Whoa, early, says Martin. I hope I didn't miss some big secret, Pat. I hit 200,000 downloads yesterday for my podcast since starting in November. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Martin. That's awesome. Applause to you. 200,000 downloads in just 5 months, which is really crazy. That's fantastic, Martin. If you could share a tip to the rest of the community here, well, why do you think your downloads went so well? What was a marketing strategy that perhaps you've used for your podcast that we can all take, whether we have a podcast, YouTube channel, blog, or whatever? That would be really helpful. What's up, Michael? Good to see you. And yes, I did start early. Xenia and Vlada in that house, one of our old school crew members here. By old school, I mean within the last 16 days. I think you've shown up every day for 16 days. We're on 16-day streak, y'all, which is really amazing. How long am I going to do this for? I'm going to do this for as long as we are all going through this crisis together, and potentially even beyond that. I want to grow this show big. I want to help a lot of people. By the way, speaking of helping a lot of people, for those of you who left super chats over the last 16 days, I had mentioned that those super chats, which are like paid comments that get highlighted, by the way, all those get donated. I just donated our chunk of change that came in from the last 16 days in those super chats. Every month I'm going to be donating the sum of money. We were able to, all of us, the super chats, we were able to donate 1,000 meals to people who really need it right now at the San Diego Food Bank here, which is where I'm located. So thank you all so much. You are amazing. 1,000 meals to people who absolutely need it. So thank you for that, because I know a lot of you want to support me and what I'm doing here. Thank you. I feel supported. I want to pass that on to people who really need it here on the Super Chat, because I'm not here to make money on the Super Chats. I'm here to be here for you, to hold myself accountable to waking up, to supporting those who have questions, who might be struggling right now. By the way, if you are struggling or you're looking to see, okay, well, what can I do with this opportunity of time that we might have now? I definitely want to recommend this toolkit here, smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit. If you go there, you're going to see a page that my team and I set up for you, which is really great. And this is the page here. It is a emergency business toolkit page for moments like this, where we have some emergency podcast episodes about maintaining your business in this environment, steps to take if you get laid off, work from home tips to stay productive. Our course, Smart from Scratch, has also been donated, $1 million worth of donated for people who need it. So you can go and get it for free there. Build Your Own Brand, which is a website and brand building course for free. And then if you want to build your email list or email challenge, that's there for you. We've given away over 10,000 copies combined of Let Go and Will It Fly to help you during this time too, and some assistance from some of our friends too. Now, one thing that will be included in here, most likely from my attorneys, we're going to be including some resources specifically about the sort of CARES Act that just happened, which includes a lot of forgivable loans that you could use for your business, even if you are a solopreneur, even if you are a sole proprietor. There's a lot of things in and around that. There's some rules that have to be followed. Applications will open on April 3rd. So we're trying to get a resource on this page, smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit, very soon to help you with that and manage your way through that. So hopefully maybe you can help support yourself even more financially thanks to the stimulus that the US government at least is going to be giving you. Wow. A bunch of super chats just came in. Let me give some shout outs really quick. We will go through some more questions for sure, but let me just scroll down here. I think I saw one come in from, let's see, we got Pramanik, Astrology Channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You've donated before. Thank you so much. We're already off to a great start when it comes to the super chats being collected here in April that will again be donated by the end of the month. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you so much. That is incredibly generous of you. Karma Cashflow in the house responded to your message on Instagram, by the way. So just make sure you catch that if you didn't already. Love your work. Love your donations. Thank you. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Karma Cashflow. You're amazing. And then we got Martin in the house. What's up, Martin? $10. Martin, for sharing my post and all your advice. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You're all amazing. All right. Team Flynn for the win, for sure. What's up, Ellen? Good to see you here. Hope you enjoyed the website review we did for you not too long ago. Okay, so let me see if we can help Grandma Goody here. And then we're going to go through some more questions. We'll likely do another website review at some point, which will be really fun, so stick around for that. We're at 135 people in the room, already close to halfway to our goal. By the way, what is our goal? Our goal today, right here. 220 likes. If we get to 220 likes during this chat, we will do a shelf reveal. What's that? Well, this was an idea from Liz. who messaged me on Instagram about these live streams. She may be watching this right now, or I think perhaps watching the replay. Hey, Liz, good to see you. Thanks for being here. She said, maybe we could go over some of these items on the shelf and I can point them out to you and share little stories about them because these things are very important to me and you probably can't see them because they're a little bit blurry behind me. So I think that'd be kind of fun. Thank you so much. I see another super chat from Just Samson in the house, another one of our OGs, Quaranteam. I think it was, one of the originals. Actually gave us a lot of advice on day one about how you could save money with Adobe. And I think there's some information on the web that you could find if you have Adobe Creative Cloud. You can save some money. He was actually the one who shared us that information. We got Ji-Yoon Kim, a pianist. Awesome. I love the cause for the super chat. Hello from San Diego too. Hey, you're in San Diego. That is awesome. I'm also getting a text message from somebody. Cool. And that's not relevant right now. Thank you all for the super chat. Super chat from Corey. Had to do something, we'll do better next time. Hey, again, this is not a time to think that you have to spend money to get value. Just take action, please. That's the biggest thing that you could do for me. So I appreciate you for that. Okay, enough with the super chats, please. Enough with the super chats. You guys are amazing. But let's get into some questions. Brennan's got to run. See you, Brennan. Good to see you. Vicky in the house. What's up, Vicky? Good to see you. Hey, Debbie. Welcome in. Good morning, Pat. I'm late for class. We'll sit back. We got a chat. Super chat from Daniel. This is part of success. Thank you so much, Daniel. Appreciate you. Going to give you some love really quick. You guys aren't going to let me get you to questions, are we? This is all part of the success. There are always haters on the way up. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you. You're amazing. And I was going to do a sound effect, but let's save them. I'm getting a little happy with the sound effects here. So let's go up. I want to serve you. I want to answer your questions. So let's go to Grandma Goody again. Where was Grandma Goody at? Grandma Goody, where are you, Grandma Goody? Totally lost the question. Sorry about that. Grandma Goody, there we are. Can you help with online multiple personalities merging? I am me and Grandma Goody persona and personal identity for a university. I have to work on home PC and concerned about personal boundaries. Well, the biggest thing here is just number one, understanding what it is that you want and perhaps even laying out, well, what is it that you don't want? What do you likely don't want to happen? And a lot of times when we're worried about things, we're making up stories in our head about the scenarios that might happen and what the worst case scenarios are and what the best case scenarios are and those kinds of things. So what I would recommend, I can't give you any specific answers because I'm not fully in the same situation or understand exactly, but whatever the case may be, I would always recommend, okay, well, what is it that you don't want to happen? How can you create boundaries so that those things don't happen? It's just like here, and I don't want to get all political, but it just reminded me of how in the US, for example, there are checks and balances, right? There are different, there's the House of Representatives and the Senate, and they all play a role in making sure that not one sort of branch of the United States government is too powerful. And that way things are there to make sure that, one's not getting too sort of into and bleeding into the other thing. So I would recommend having some sort of way to have systems and balances in check based on, well, what are the boundaries that you want to set related to these personalities? What do you want to make sure doesn't happen? And then you could potentially create some rules around that. All right. Startup Flame says, planning to offer custom brand creative, logo, social media banner, podcast title cover, $5, limited time. What is your recommendation? That is a great deal. I think there's also a lot of people who are starting podcasts and starting YouTube channels during this time who could use some help with their social media. Likely they're not going to spend a ton of money right now if they're starting out from scratch. So a $5 sort of, it almost feels like what's called a tripwire in the entrepreneurial space, which is like a low dollar thing that people are really interested in getting that could potentially turn them into an even bigger customer later, especially if you could serve them. I would say, see how you might be able to do this for free for a couple people just to get sort of, number one, your systems going. And I always recommend doing this. Like if you are even creating an online course or some sort of service of some kind, do that thing for free for even just one person to, number one, prove that you can do it, which opens up your mind consciously that, hey, I can do this. Let me do it with more people. Number two, it proves that it is something that you want to do because you might do it and hate it, and Great job not getting 100 people right in the beginning and doing something that you hate, but you're proving the concept with one for you. And number three, you're able to get some testimonials. So you're able to get, your portfolio going right away and having some real life case studies so that you can share and hopefully help promote this even more. Ben says, hey, Pat, I'm planning on starting a YouTube channel, but I'm curious if I should just go live or do I need to set up to load videos? You could go live. There are different beasts. You know, live is community. Live is answering questions to me. Live is sort of showcasing things happening almost in real time. And sort of preloaded, pre-recorded videos can be a lot better at answering people's questions if people are looking for that through search. And it can also be a way for you to sort of present something in a way that's a little bit more molded. You have this Play-Doh, right? Right now, we're sort of molding the Play-Doh as we go here live. And I don't know what shape it's going to take, to be honest. But when it comes to these pre-recorded videos that you upload to YouTube, I mean, that's what's going to build your YouTube library. Going live and building a live community here. I mean, I have 200,000 plus subscribers, and we have about 1%, and even less than 1%. We have 200 people in the room almost at this time. And it's hard because live is very much based on, well, when can you go live? Can you show up live? And then also, are other people free at that time as well versus a video that people can be watching on demand? So I would say a combination of both could work really well too. Let's see. Question for you from Alice. Do you use ConvertKit feature resend to unopens? And if so, how many days after the original email is sent? Yes, we do use that. It often will get an additional 5 to 6% of people to open that email. And the trick that I do with resending to unopens, and I talk about this in my course, Email Marketing Magic, but happy to share it with you here. I always resend it to unopens, but I always change the subject line and I change the beginning part of that email just in case people did open it or see it in a preview or something. I don't want it to seem like I'm just spamming, right? But I do resend it, and how many days after? Typically 2 or 3 days after, unless it is a very time-sensitive thing that requires immediate action. And if that's the case, then I might send it the day after, or at least 24 hours after, to give people some time. But again, I redo the subject line, and then I also have a little message up front that says something like, hey, in case you didn't see this the other day, it was really important for me to get it in front of you, so I apologize if you saw this already, but this is a really important message, or something like that. Awesome. We are doing excellent. We are at 109 likes. By the way, our goal, 220. If we get to 220, I'm going to pick up maybe 3 items from the shelf behind me that I want to share with you to hopefully give you some inspiration. Glad you are here too. Let's see. You've got me so motivated that I was working like a fiend and almost missed this. Yay, notifications. Yay, notifications. If you want to get notified of this morning stream every morning, then you can hit that bell notification icon here on the channel. Thank you so much. Good morning, Pat. Thank you for the daily dose of sanity. You're welcome, Jonathan. That's why I'm here. Good looking beard, by the way. Alex says, off to babysit my nephew, but can't wait to catch up on this later. So much love for you guys and these streams. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you. When are these going to be in 3D? When are these going to be virtual? That'd be awesome. We can make up our own little chat room and be here in person together. I think that's actually possible. Not here on YouTube, but the reason I'm sharing this is because Alex is very versed in the world of VR and AR. I've come to find out. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Question from Karma Cashflow. I just finished recording 120 videos this week. Bruh. Insane. They will be going up 3 times per week. 1 went up yesterday, but what time of day do you think is best to publish them? This is a great question because I remember when I first started getting really serious about YouTube, I worked really hard on these videos, and as soon as I finished editing them, I was so anxious to publish them and getting them up. I was very impatient that I would publish them at like 11 p.m. at night because that's when I finished editing them. But that's not great because YouTube does reward you. So I hear there's a lot of back and forth. I've seen people at YouTube say, no, that doesn't matter, but it absolutely does matter because when are people online more? So if you can be available to publish when you know that your audience is live, that always works out best. Now, there are tools out there that can literally give you the answer, Karma Cashflow. I use a tool called vidIQ, and I think TubeBuddy also does this as well. These are tools to help us video creators in the world of YouTube by giving us analytics and data and keyword research and a lot of other extra tools. One of the tools in vidIQ tells you what time of day is best to publish for you and your particular audience. That's a really great thing. Another tool that you might be able to use, I think is, gosh, I remember this tool. I haven't shared it in a while. I don't even know if it exists still, but it was called like Time to Tweet or or besttimetotweet.com, or I can't even remember exactly, but it would be based on your Twitter followers when was the best time to share tweets. And you could likely assume that people who are, involved and when there's more populated Twitter, and it literally just uses when people are online based on your followers to tell you the right times of the day that are more popular. You could use the same thing. So for me, it's anywhere between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. for my videos. And if I can hit that window, it can often work really well, because if you get a little bit of velocity up front, it can work out and help you in the long run for sure. Greg says, I would eventually like to have a YouTube channel, blog, and podcast. Which one would you suggest I start with? So when it comes to choosing one over the other, and you have 3 choices here, they're all great. They're all platforms that can be successful. So that's the first thing I would understand. They could all work for you. But if you do all of them at the same time, none of them are going to work for you. Your energy is going to be divided across all these platforms, and it's not going to do you any good. I would much rather you do one, you master it, you get to a point where you've done it for a while, now your systems are in place and you have the things involved so that you can get some more time back and start to then either repurpose that content somewhere else or start up a whole new platform somewhere else that sort of can complement that, and they can cross-pollinate each other and promote each other. So which one might you do first? 2 strategies for you. Number 1, pick the one that is a good crossover between where you imagine you can get most excited and where you can also see yourself sort of positioning yourself amongst other people who are doing that too. Meaning if you want to start a podcast, for example, because you're excited about, getting involved with interviews and having conversations and telling stories and that sort of stuff, and you also see that there's a number of other podcasters that you could see becoming friends with and buddies with in that space, well, then that might be a perfect fit, as opposed to maybe there's a whole YouTube community that just seems like really not your taste and not your flavor. So I don't know. I'm just kind of making this up as I go. The other strategy would be to play this game that I like to call, I need to come up with a name for it, but I like to call it sort of like driving the DeLorean. And that means you pick the blog one just in your head mentally. Fast forward a year from now, you are all in on the blog. Is it doing what you want to do? Are you waking up energized to write every week? Are you down with communicating with people on that platform? Is it giving you what you need? Is it helping you fulfill your goals? If not, well, then come back to present time, then take the DeLorean and go fast forward into the future with the blog, and then do the same thing with the podcast. And then you're likely going to be able to see in the day of the life of you, well, with that thing in mind, how's that day? Is that something that gets you up in the morning? Is that something you like? Michael in the house. I started my YouTube channel around 6 months ago, and I'm trying to level up my videos. What are your tips on how to make educational YouTube videos more entertaining and fun for reviewers? The number one thing y'all can do to help your videos do better on YouTube is get a better hook in the beginning of your videos. Keep people watching longer. That is the ultimate goal for YouTube. That's what helps support your YouTube videos getting promoted and recommended more. And that's what's going to make a human be more interested. So that's the sort of underlying basis. And I don't mean like just create a clickbaity hook in the beginning to keep people on, because then you're going to let them down at the end if it's just kind of like all talk and no walk. But if you can frame the videos as how can I keep people watching the longest and keeping them, to a point where you're not boring them, but there is a purpose for sticking around to the end, then and hooking them in the beginning, well, then you've done a lot of the legwork already. In addition to that, I think that just showing up and being fully present with them in terms of your personality, being you, you're going to start to attract people that make sense for you. Your vibe attracts your tribe, as my buddy Chris Tucker says. So not trying to be like somebody else, but being yourself, I think, is really key, because then you can attract people for the kind of person that you are. You attract and have people like you the way that they should, not for sort of because you have Lamborghinis in the backgrounds of your videos, which is what a lot of people honestly think that they need to do to succeed on YouTube. You're going to attract people. You can pay to have people like you, but you're going to have the wrong people like you. And when it comes time for you to, share that message or build a business, it's not going to work out. And we've seen this happen time and time again. And then finally, the third thing I will share with you is to keep interrupting the pattern. What I mean by that is if it's just a talking head the whole time, these lives are a little bit different because you really have no idea where this is going to go or what questions are going to be asked. You have the chance of having your name here and you have a chance of getting your website reviewed. Like, there's reasons to stick around, and plus there's community. With a regular video on YouTube, we need to keep people sort of on the edge of their seat. And I don't mean like we need to create cliffhangers. What I mean is, if you look at a lot of my recent videos, you're going to see a lot of pattern interrupts. So a lot of things moving on the screen, a lot of B-roll, a lot of jump cuts, a lot of things that just sort of keep people from going from one point to the next point, writing on the screen, or just whatever creative ways you can find to keep people interested and excited. My video that I would recommend for you as a template or as an example is my work from home video that just came out a couple weeks ago. It's actually popping. It's gotten 22,000 views in the last 2 weeks, where on average I get maybe 5,000 to 6,000. So it is doing really well, and I worked really hard on that video to, number one, hook people in the beginning, to keep people watching. I did something where instead of counting up from 1 to 10, I counted down from 10 to 1. And you'll notice that in the first minute, there's a lot of pattern interrupts already, right? I say things like, working from home can be a challenge because there's a lot of distractions around you. And then it cuts to me going to the fridge to get salsa. And then you might have kids in the house, and it cuts to my kids knocking and banging on my door. Or you might have a boss and it cuts to my wife and all this stuff. So I try to keep it sort of interesting and a lot of pattern interrupts, more heavy on the front side of the video, but keeping people watching longer is a big thing. And I wanted to go a little bit longer on that because we're all on YouTube. Likely you're thinking about creating videos or you're doing them already. And I just wanted to share that with you. TheScoobyLife.com. I've been cleaning up my blog thanks to your site reviews. Awesome. Thank you. I have lots of content, some good SEO and some not. What's the best, most efficient way to do this retrospectively? So I would recommend, if possible, spending some time going and creating a spreadsheet of all your posts. And this is really helpful because it just is a nice repository where you can see what you've written and what you could link to in future posts. I think this is a big strategy that a lot of people don't do because we take it one post at a time versus thinking about your website as a whole. And so when you have a spreadsheet of your content calendar, things that have been published in the past and also things that are coming up, you're able to start planning a little bit easier. So you might find that, let's say you have, a thing about, Facebook advertising coming up in the next week. Well, as you are writing that blog post, you can go back into the past and say, okay, well, what blog post can I link to from my past in this upcoming blog post? And that's really helpful for SEO too, because it allows you to do some more interlinking. When you interlink, you start to create sort of, neurons and highways between what the things are happening on your website. And it proves to Google, it just makes Google a lot more aware of the things that you have available, how relevant your stuff is. It also is just great practice to do anyway to get more people going through your website. And that's probably the best thing that we could all do that most of us don't, is creating that spreadsheet of content that just kind of lives. And it doesn't have to be very complicated. It's just blog post, keywords that you were targeting, and then perhaps every few months you can go in and see what the search engine rankings are for those pages for certain keywords, and then you could see, okay, well, what's the low-hanging fruit here where I can improve? And I think that's what we want. We don't just want to like throw darts and go, okay, well, I'm going to update this post because I want to update it. You can go, oh, well, this post here from 3 years ago is actually ranking on the second page of Google. Let's rewrite that and not publish a new post, but let me go back and update that post, and let's link it to some new stuff that's come out recently. Let's, try to get some backlinks for that. Let's talk about it on the podcast now. And these kinds of things can be a great way to sort of move all things up. Awesome. Great job. We are at 147 likes. Remember the goal? 220 likes. So we're almost there. And I'm going to reveal some stuff that's here on the shelf behind me that nobody's ever heard of before. And that's for you. And thank you, Liz, for that. What capture card am I using? This is Kingdom Culture. Good to see you here. Thanks so much. So the capture card I'm using, I have my DSLR camera plugged into a Blackmagic web presenter. There are other capture cards that you can use. The Elgato 4K Cam Link is one that's very popular. I think it's currently sold out on Amazon, but I do recommend that too. I'm actually getting another one shipped over because I want to have another camera angle here that will be a surprise reveal for you. Kind of revealed what the surprise is already, but you don't know what camera angle it is. That's going to help us out even further. So look out for that, but that'll be from likely a GoPro, because a GoPro can connect to devices like this and your computer. Using an HDMI, you just need a capture card to be able to do that. Awesome. Chris says, I finally woke up in time to get on the live chat. I got laid off due to my job a week ago, and I really want to use this time as pushing off point to start my own business. Chris, congratulations, man. I think this is a great opportunity for you. This is something that happened to me, as you likely know, back in 2008. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was a huge opportunity, a big blessing in disguise to get let go. And I remember, gosh, where was it? I was having, here's a story. Let me tell you a story. Story time with Pat. So back when I got laid off, I started a business helping people pass an architectural exam. This exam was called the LEAD exam. And I created a study guide and a website and all this stuff. And I sold the study guide for $19.99. $19.99. In the first month, not the first month after I started this thing, this was several months after, but the first month I started monetizing, I had made $7,908.55 from a $19.99 ebook. And it totally blew me away. It completely took me by surprise. Number one, I thought like the FBI was going to show up because it just was like, how is this even possible? This seems illegal. But what was more interesting was, in addition to helping people pass this exam, and again, that's like a niche in a niche in a niche in a niche. And that's why I always say the riches are in the niches. But in addition to helping people, I got messages back from people and even some handwritten notes from people who saw my address at the bottom of my email who were saying, thank you, Pat. They were calling me by name. I never got that at my job. I never had people thank me so much. And here I was in a niche and a niche and a niche and a niche getting thanked for my work. And that felt incredible, especially again, as a 3 on the Enneagram. This was like speaking my language. A few months go by and I get an email from one of my customers. I can't remember his name, but he said, Pat, thank you for your guide. It's excellent. I think you are undercharging for it. And I said, what do you mean? I'm trying to go low end because I want to help and serve as many people as possible. But he said, Pat, I'm a business owner. I need to give you some advice. I can tell that you're new at this, but I want to help you out. And I was like, thank you. What's your advice? And he said, well, the cheaper you make something, and I understand that you're trying to help as many people as possible, but the cheaper you price it, the more likely it is that somebody's going to think that it's a cheap product. And I've taken this exam and I passed thanks to your exam guide. And this is not a cheap product. You are completely underselling yourself. You're undervaluing this product. You should double the price. You should absolutely double the price. And to me, I was like, double the price? That's crazy talk. I was getting scared and nervous about doing that. But I doubled the price. I didn't double the price because I was too scared, actually. I went from $19.99 to $29.99, and I sold even more. There's this thing called perceived value. If you go to a furniture store and there's this beautiful $1,000 pieces of furniture, antiques and exquisite, beautiful, and you see this beautiful chair, and it's just like the best chair in the world, but you see it and it's like $10. You probably think something's up with that chair. You probably question, why is this $10? Is it haunted? I don't know. But you see what I mean? Perceived value. Anyway, I reached back out to this person and I said, thank you so much. You've helped me make tens of thousands of extra dollars. This was months later. And he said, Pat, you need to thank your boss who let you go, because he followed up and he saw my story. He followed me on Smart Passive Income. He's like, you need to thank your boss for helping you get rid of that ball and chain of yours. And I was like, bruh. Dude. Those were some strong words, and thank you for bringing that back up, Chris, because I hadn't remembered that story in quite a while. But one of my own customers reached out and said, you should thank your boss for letting you go, laying you off, because and he wanted to thank them too, because he wouldn't have gotten that advice and passed the exam if I hadn't gotten laid off too. Crazy, right? E is in the house. What's up, E? Good to see you here. A space for us to build and support each other with more community. Is it haunted? Is it haunted? No, it was not haunted. So we're at 170 likes again. Our goal, 220. You guys are doing amazing. Thank you so much for being here. 228 live today. Thank you so much. I spent last night recording a new video that will be published, probably not today, but likely tomorrow. So hit that bell notification icon. And when you hit that bell notification icon, I think you have a choice to have notifications for all videos or just personalized, meaning like it's just based on your interaction. Honestly, I have no idea how it all works. Eventually, we're going to get to a point where you're going to have to click 30 things to eventually see the videos that you want. But this is what happens when you go onto a free platform, right? They start creating these rules where you can't control exactly the things that happen anymore. We saw it with Facebook. Remember back in the day when Facebook pages were a thing, and it was like you could be essentially guarantee that everybody would see your messages. And now pages aren't even around anymore. They are, but they just don't work. And then groups, even in groups, your messages are throttled. And that's what happens when you get onto these free platforms. And that's why when people ask, well, what do you think about Anchor versus a lot of these other podcasting hosts? I mean, I have very similar vibes with that kind of thing. I think we should try focusing on a streamlined thread. Cool. So E is starting, I think, a Slack channel for the community who wants to get together, which I think is really cool. So thank you for that, Ian, stepping up. Paximus Enterprises says, Pat, I'm new to video podcasting and want to post my first one this week. What would you recommend I get for Video Switcher to work with Rodecaster Pro and interview someone over Skype? So I would check out, if you have a Mac, check out Ecamm Live, patflynn.com/ecamm, patflynn.com/ecamm. It actually can bring in Skype, people from Skype, which is really amazing as one of the scenes. So you could be able to switch between your screen, your computer screen, their screen. You can have this sort of side-by-side thing. You can have picture-in-picture. So if you happen to have a Mac computer, use Ecamm. patflynn.com/ecamm. That is a affiliate link. Susan says, my business could help two different groups of people. Is it wrong to want to try to do it for both? One could help the other, but do I only hone in on one of the two groups? I would recommend you focus on one of the groups to start. And this is what's called going 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep with them. Because I promise you, if they're two different groups, likely they have two different sets of problems, two different issues, two different sets of languages that they will respond to, such that if they subscribe to your one channel, for example, they will see messages that don't resonate with them all the time. Versus just, Susan, you are the gal for them and you are everything that they were hoping for. And then you eventually build up that audience and master those systems, get those processes down, and then you can go horizontally into that second group. And you can say, after a certain moment, hey, by the way, we're going to start to serve this side of the audience. So if you happen to be one of my audience members who also is that or knows somebody who's that, we're going to start this sort of segment. We're going to add a second show to the podcast. We're going to add a new category to the blog. But do that after you've mastered that first one first. Pat, did you ever consider offering DMS, digital marketing services? We have not considered doing it in terms of like an agency model where you could hire us to get your books written, to get your podcast up and running and all those kinds of things. However, people have asked us for that before. We are thinking about doing something a little bit different where instead of sort of having it be a service to people who can just sort of pay to get it, we might recruit people who we feel would be a good fit for the SPI brand and want to come in and sort of be the expert about certain topics to be able to expand the sort of SPI universe, if you will. And that's something that we're really excited about. I talked about this on a podcast episode with my COO, Matt, not too long ago, where we sort of see ourselves as like the Avengers, right? And sort of maybe I can take the role of, Iron Man, although not what eventually happened. Spoiler alert. But, so I'm Iron Man, I'm like the star of this thing, but then I'm bringing on other players, right? Like Matt might be, Hawkeye, not Hot Guy, although he's a very handsome person. Hawkeye, not Hot Guy. I always have to say that because I said it once and people were like, dude, you think he's hot? And I was like, well, Hawkeye is kind of good looking. Anyway, and then, some of my team members are the Hulk and some of my team members are Black Widow, and all of us together, we can help support the world in the way that we know how with our own superpowers. Well, we want to recruit even more people who have these special superpowers who can complement what we're doing and complement our mission, which is to help serve you and help you level up as an entrepreneur, no matter what level you're at. So instead of just offering services to others, we want to recruit people and then offer our talents to help support them in creating a podcast, perhaps, that fits into the SPI Media brand. So these are kinds of things that we're discussing on the team to help grow, to scale, to offer more value and service. I'm struggling with the two-group thing as well, professional landscapers and home gardeners. I'm going to do the professionals, for instance. I have more contracts in that niche. I think that's a smart move, and here's why. Two reasons. Number one, like I just said, if you divide your energy between the two, landscapers have a completely different set of problems, needs, wants, and goals and desires versus people who are just doing it at home, the hobbyist, right? Secondly, the products that you're going to be offering, the services that you're going to be offering are likely very different too. Imagine one of them, the professional, going to your blog and seeing an article specifically about how to tend to your roses at home. Likely not going to attract them. However, if you can answer questions for the professionals like how do you make more money per client? How do you, land more leads? Like all those kinds of things, that can work out really well. And here's why I also think that's better than the other. Not that the other is bad, but I think the professionals are better because likely they have more money to spend. And that is a big draw for you, hopefully, because they likely can invest more into the services and things that you want to do. Now, I will also say this with sort of an asterisk. What do you enjoy more? Because I don't want you to go down a route where, yes, maybe there's more money involved, but then, 2 years down the road, it's the most successful thing ever and you absolutely hate it. I've seen people go down that route before, and it's because they don't necessarily think ahead of time in terms of, okay, well, if they choose this way, if it works out, is it actually something that's supporting the life that they want? So this is the very first chapters of Will It Fly also, just so you know. We got SBP in the house. SBP. Okay. I saw your website there. Thank you so much. I'm not going to review it because it's not in English, but yeah. I think I saw, is that the one that looks like Wikipedia that I saw? History-sbp.org. Let me see. History.sbp.org. Or history dash, is it? Hold on. History-sbp.org. It says the site can't be reached, so maybe I just don't have the right. I don't have the right URL. So anyway. Hold on one moment. I will be there in about 10 minutes. Started my live stream early to end early today, but still in it right now. Texting while live in front of everyone. Ha 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 ha. Be there soon. So Wednesdays typically start a little earlier, and the reason is because I have a mastermind call that starts right now, but I want to be here for you. And so we just started at 7:45 today. We're going to 8:45. So we have about 15 minutes, about 13 minutes at this point, which is really cool. Awesome. So Mary is asking, I really liked your YouTube videos teaching email marketing. When is your email marketing course going to open up again? Building out the marketing plan for the podcast I'm going to launch. So Email Marketing Magic, which is going to, through a beta program right now, and there's still some stuff that I have to upload into that course at this moment as the students are now sort of finishing up their coursework there now. That's likely going to be launched in May, Mary. So thank you for asking, and good luck on the launch. Isaac says, weird question. What kind of internet speed are you buying or running with? So I am currently running AT&T Fiber, which just recently came into our neighborhood about a couple years ago, and it's really, really great. And I'm also plugged in, I don't know if you could see this, but I am plugged in wired. If you're gonna go live or do anything like podcasting, better to go wired just so it's a little bit more faster. It's a little bit faster, it's a little bit more reliable. So I'm sort of, I think I'm at least like 400 or 500 up and down right now. And there are no weird questions here. By the way, we're falling short of our goal here. We only got 12 minutes left. So we want to try to get to 220. I can share 3 things behind me on my shelf here for you that a lot of people have been asking about over time that I have never shared yet. So let's see if we can get to 220. In the meantime, share with me a website that you might have in a way that YouTube allows me to see it, because you can't just type in your regular .com or whatever, because they hold it because they don't want people to spam. So if you can creatively get through to my comments here on Ecamm in a way that allows me to understand what your website is. I'm going to review one person right now before we finish up with some more questions, as well as, we'll just wrap up. So let's see if we can make that happen. Susan says, my site is for local high school athletes. I can serve them with local info, but which is what they are asking for, but I can help college recruiters as well with the site. That's what I asked about. Cool. Thank you. How much operating power do you have? Memory. I have about this Mac. Let's see. 64 gigabytes, 2667 megahertz DDR4, whatever that means. Okay. ProjectKickstart.com or .co. ProjectKickstart.co. Let's do that. first one that came in. And again, I'm sorry I can't get to everybody. We're going to continue to do this at least once every stream. I'm going live every morning, so there's a chance. Just keep that in mind. But I'm going to head over here and we'll do the 3-minute countdown timer. We're at 198, by the way, which is really great. We need 220. You guys are doing amazing. Let me move this screen out of the way, and we're going to go here. Boom. Project Kickstart Co. 3 minutes. Here we go. We train teams to get projects done. Projects are hard. Project management doesn't have to be. With the right tools, Asana, and the right methods, the Asana Kickstart implementation program, you and your team can experience clarity and flow every day. You can deliver excellent work. You can get the right things done at the right times. Great. I was worried if you were ever going to talk to me. You're talking about, okay, projects, great. Teams, awesome. Now we get to the language that I was looking for. You and your team can experience clarity. I'm worried a little bit about adding Asana and getting into the details right here. Because what if I want to get stuff done, but then I don't know what Asana is? I might think that, well, do I need Asana right now? Do I have to be a user of Asana in order to get access to this? Maybe you just literally want people who are already using Asana. And if that's the case, well, then keep this, because then it's very honed in. It's very niche in a niche, right? Productivity, but Asana, not Trello, not any of these other things, Nosebee or whatever. But if you are trying to potentially become an affiliate for Asana and recruit people to Asana and teach them Asana from the beginning, well, I would not include that there. I would have that become the answer that people eventually find out that you're using through all your examples and whatnot. Now, I'm a little bit confused about self-directed or work together. I think that language, would you prefer to go self-directed or work with us? Is self-directed the language that people would normally use when say, do you want to do this yourself or do you want us to do it for you? You see what I mean? That's a little bit more sort of honed in on language that I think more people would respond to. I like that this is literally like, I love this because it's like, hey, I've introduced to you what I am and what I do. This is how it's relevant to you. You talked about what the benefits are. You can deliver excellent work. You can do it at the right times. Excellent. And you have the call to actions here. Okay, do one or the other. But I'm a little bit confused of what the benefit of doing this is. Maybe there's a little bit of explanation of what self-directed means or what work together means. And I like that you have the call to action up top. I didn't have to scroll down, which is really great. And I love how you say that's Brian, our trainer. Get to know a little bit of the team. There's like a real company behind here, but you look friendly. I like the sort of raw camera angle with a little bit of the Asana behind that. That looks really amazing. I love that. Check out what our clients say. P.S. This is what success sounds like. There's a lot of real estate under this. There's like a big space here. I think you could move things up a little bit. Also, I don't necessarily think you need to even say this. Check out what our clients say. You can just go right to Adam's talk here about what he's saying. Brian was super prepared. We reached out to Asana if they see we could pay them to help us. Brian really brought Asana to life. Okay, so maybe this is a Asana-based thing, which is really cool. FAQ is great. Sign up to receive free Asana tips. Cool. Okay, so I want to see what happens if I'm like, okay, I want to go self-directed. Where am I taken? New Asana Kickstart Guide Series for 2020. Wow. Okay, this is very upfront in my face. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like, whoa, okay, like this is a sales page, but it's just right to the pricing point. Like I think that there could be a lot done to tell me a little bit more about what this can do for me. Why, like, what does it mean to do it self-directed? An FAQ about that kind of stuff. I mean, I just got to meet you and you're asking me to pay at a minimum $59. I think, these are coming soon, which is really great. But yeah, I think this page where you're selling something could use a lot more connection. Proof, number one, because the proof was left on the homepage, and it might be needed here too, because people might click there before they even scroll down and see the proof that you just mentioned. And proof meaning testimonials and things like that. A reminder of, okay, what will this do for me? What do I get on the other end of these things? And then finally, just some additional sort of just, well, what's inside of these things? It's very minimal right now. So hopefully that helps you. Did I do that right? Did you all see the site review? I think you all are focused on on getting the on getting the like goal. But we are at 2:12. We're almost there. I got 4 minutes or 6 minutes before I'm leaving. So thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you. Team Flynn, you're amazing. And it's just been a fun ride as always. And we're 16 days into this. Again, make sure you hit subscribe and hit that bell notification icon here on YouTube so that you can get notified when we come out tomorrow. And we're going to do the same thing again. Maybe I can review your site. Maybe I'll answer your questions. I wish I could get to everybody if possible, I would have loved to do, I mean, actually, I had come up with this idea to do a 24-hour straight live stream, just answering as many questions as I can, or maybe a 1,000 question goal. And that would be crazy, just to kind of like create a lot of noise about this and to get more people to watching. One thing that you could do to help people would be to give me some likes and to also share it with people. Again, very consistently going live every morning around 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. Pacific, except on Wednesdays, which is a little bit earlier because I want to catch a mastermind call that I have planned that starts at actually 8:30. So you guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much. And it looks like we're really close to hitting the goal. So I think you guys are going to get it in time. Again, our goal here, 220. And I'm going to pull out some of these things on the shelf behind me and share some fun stories about them as we finish off. So thank you so much. I see 218. You guys are doing awesome. Xenia says, Pat, thank you so much for the last 16 days. I appreciate you. We're going for another 16 more. Again, as long as we are in this sort of weird state of the world, I'm going to be here showing up for you so that we can have something regular. So Stacy says, yeah, not 24 hours, Pat. That's not healthy for you. I know that's not healthy. I've seen people do these 24-hour challenges, and plus I have a family to take care of. That would probably derail me for a few days. We don't want that to happen. 220. We got to 220, and likely there's a little bit more because there's a little bit of lag time. So well done, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys are crazy. Okay, let me pull up 3 things here. One. 2. And 3. Okay, I got my 3 things. So thank you guys. You guys are great. You did awesome. So number 1, this is, as you can see, actually probably not. This is a film reel. This is a film reel of what? It is Back to the Future, a trailer that was played in 1985 of Back to the Future, 70 millimeter reel. I bought this from somebody for over $2,000 because they were selling it and they knew how much of a fan I was. And this was played in the theaters before Back to the Future came out. This is like one of my prized possessions here, which was really cool. So this is so awesome. I have not yet played it. I'm afraid to, but I can actually see some of the frames in here, and it is Back to the Future, which is really amazing. So really cool thing. Number 2, I wanted to share this with you. This is a certificate, and you can see here at the back, got some wonderful, beautiful kids here from Ghana. This is one of many plaques that I've received as a result of support that I've offered, and a lot of support from you for Pencils of Promise. Pencils of Promise is an organization that I'm on the advisory board for that builds schools around the world. And I actually went to Ghana in 2015, back when we could travel, and I met the teachers and the students of these schools that we built. I actually got my hands dirty, was making and helping build the schools while there. And this is what you get when you support a school, because I did a campaign to raise money to build a school. And I said, if we raise enough money, Team Flynn, I will match that. We were able to build 2 schools in Ghana at the start. And this one here says, this is actually the one that I wanted to pull out. I wasn't sure if this was the right one, because this school in particular, which is in New Ayoma, Ghana, current students, 186 students, future impact, 3,720 students, community population, 8,000. The school that we built has 3 classrooms in it. And there's a sign on the school that says, made possible by Pat Flynn, dedication. Here for you and each other, thanks to the kindness of the SPI community. So somewhere in Ghana, in New Ayoma, Ghana, there's a school that literally says, brought to you by the SPI community. They probably see it every day because it's right there on the front, and they have no idea who we are and what we're doing. And that's okay. Actually, I'm glad that they're focused on their schoolwork. This is amazing. So Team Flynn, you've stepped up in the past, as you always do, to help support people around the world. We recently donated money to the food bank here from the Super Chats, and we're building schools around the world. You guys are doing incredible. I'm here as sort of a conduit between your efforts and other people who might need help too. So well done. Yeah, 2015, that was 5 years ago. And then finally, a picture of me and my son, Keone, in Philadelphia. This was taken with one of those old school flash cameras on the side of the street. and we paid like $20 to get this done. We're both wearing Philly shirts and Philly pants and Philly hats, although I don't have the hats in this one. So the quick story is my son and I, we went to Philadelphia. It was just us two. He was 8 at the time. And we went to Podcast Movement to present and share our new podcast, All of Your Beeswax. And on the way home, we were on the plane and it was closing in on midnight. There was some delays because of weather. And right at midnight, they were like, we're sorry, we didn't take off in time. There's city ordinances. We can't take off. You're all stuck here. We weren't able to get our bags. They hooked us up with a hotel after, but everybody in the plane was bummed, swearing, and like I had to put earmuffs on my son. But I wanted to use that opportunity to teach. And so I said, hey, we're going to make the best of this. So next morning, we were literally in the same clothes. We bought a bunch of Philadelphia clothes. We just got all decked out in Philadelphia clothing. And we took Ubers to 12 different landmarks in Philadelphia. And we danced in front of every single one of those landmarks, from the Rocky Balboa stairs and statue to the Liberty Bell to Independence Hall and all these other places. And I filmed it. And we filmed dancing in front of those landmarks. And what was really cool, thank you for the super chat, Brian. I appreciate you. You're amazing. And then what happened was I shared that video and it went viral in Philadelphia. People were like, father teaches son how to make the best out of a bad situation or something like that. So this was a big fun learning moment for my son based on how other people reacted. They were all swearing and upset that things got canceled, but I just wanted to show him that you can make lemonade out of lemons. And I know a lot of you are trying to do that right now. So congratulations to you. And I hope that y'all are looking to see how you can provide and what opportunities are also available to you during this time. Chris recently got laid off. This is a big opportunity. Let's make it happen. I'm so appreciative that you're here. Brian building his website to help people with Asana, which is really incredible. And you here, Team Flynn, doing things to help others too, and also seeing the opportunities that are here, although we are in this crazy time. So Team Flynn, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Well done on the light goal. You're incredible. And we're gonna finish off. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here. Hit that bell notification icon so you can get notified. And thank you. You're incredible. Peace. Team Flynn for the win.